Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hamby Show. We've got a hell of an episode for you. We're getting an immediate reaction from Ben Carter, a legendary Ole Miss Rebel, a fan, a heartbroken one at that at the moment, but one that's excited for the playoffs run ahead of the Rebels. The first playoff appearance, but we got to talk about the Lane firing. We got to get the honest, raw reaction from Ben as Lane departs for LSU. Louisiana Lane. I know it hurts you to hear that, but Ben, let's start with this. What were the emotions? Walk me through the announcement, like what you were feeling, and then as the day carried on, and now we're a week maybe removed from Lane leaving for LSU. How are we feeling?
Well, first off, Hammy, thank you for having me. It is so good to be back. I love it. I love the camaraderie of it, and I hate we're not in person doing this. Our schedules did not align that way, but it's just so good to be back nonetheless.
Heck yeah.
The emotions have been a complete roller coaster, right? I mean, it has gone from denial to its fullest degree, when especially when Florida was involved.
Yeah.
And I know you guys hate Florida, and I will tell you right now, I grew to really hate Florida in that week or two that they were a heavy candidate for Lane because of their entitlement. And again, I do understand why Florida and LSU think that, hey, that we're a much bigger program than Ole Miss. I understand that years ago, but we're done with the 90s, Unc. We are into modern day. This is NIL. We are in a whole different generation of it. And since the NIL era has begun, Ole Miss has been the best. So I say all that to say, the anger towards Florida fans and then ultimately LSU fans has been real, and it has been there. And it started with a denial anger of, hey, who do you think you are? We are. And little did I know, we are not. Lane Kiffin left us like we were an ugly prom date. But the emotions from that went from denial to, I mean, it's like the 7 stages of grief. Denial, anger, blah blah blah, and blah blah blah. But I felt it all. I Saturday when it really came out, and Hammy, you weren't with us. We were with the whole family in Highlands, and Saturday morning was like, okay, the announcement's coming today. People were optimistic. My fiance Cameron, who was a Lane Kiffin lover, she thought he could do no wrong and thought he was never going to leave. She woke up optimistic, and throughout the day, that optimism kind of dwindled progressively, and into the evening, it became more and more real that he was going to leave, and I would say that the optimism turned to frustration, turned to anger, and then by Sunday night it was anger, but it was also sadness. What Lane did, and as angry as I've been with him, he did amazing things in his almost fully 6 years in Oxford, and we saw some of the best games that you could hope for, especially coming from where it was when he took it over. And I am grateful for that. Don't get me wrong, but the way it was handled, I will go against everything that he said, that he couldn't have handled it any better. He couldn't have handled it any worse. And it, in turn, made our emotions. I mean, it sucked, dude. It sucked. It really did. And Sunday night was filled. It was filled with sadness. One, you're going back to work after Thanksgiving break, but you also have to face the music and sit there and say, well, we were wrong in believing that this guy was a rebel. This guy had our back. And we were fooled. We were conned to believe that. So I know that's a long stretched out, ramble of it all, but the emotions, the feelings were all of them.
Yeah.
They were anger, sadness, in a way, relief that it was all over.
Yeah.
It was not a fun month to be an Ole Miss fan, which is sad because it's been the best season of, in history.
Yeah.
So it has been all of them. If I can, all of the above, if I can select that answer, that's what I'll go with.
Exactly. No, I mean, I totally get it there. That was my biggest thing that like, I mean, obviously I'm not an Ole Miss fan, but that was definitely the thing that like stuck out to me the most of just like turning on ESPN every morning and just seeing the Lane rumors. He's going to Florida. He's looking at houses in Gainesville. Oh, he's in Baton Rouge now. Oh, the planes are coming to Oxford. And I was just like, and it was kind of a sigh of relief, like, holy cow, let's get this over with. But that's from an outside perspective. So I know the
Absolutely.
sadness was outweighed in Oxford, Mississippi, and among Ole Miss fans. But I know what sucks even more, and I hate to kick a down soldier, but is it worse like the fact that he's leaving or the fact that it's LSU? Because LSU, I mean, it's I know Mississippi State is y'all's most hated rival, but LSU second. And I don't know if that is shared among LSU fans. I know they've got a lot of rivals as well, but like I feel like Ole Miss, y'all hate LSU. The Magnolia Bowl is an electric rivalry in college sports, especially college football. So like would it have maybe eased the blow if it was Florida, or is it just like I mean, I just feel like the LSU fact of it is awful.
Uh,
Another stab to the heart.
100%. And I think, I don't know if Florida, I guess it would have been better. Like I said, though, Florida fans, the way that they came into Oxford, having a terrible year, and we beat them, and they played us close, they really did. But their entitlement was so frustrating, and it was like, man, you haven't been good since you had I mean, I guess the Kyle Trask year was okay, but they lost two or three games, but they haven't been good since they had Tebow on the team and the team full of criminals and stuff. And we all know, like, I don't know. I will say I grew up a Georgia fan, so I'm a little biased to hating Florida,
Yeah.
but I didn't feel that level of hatred until their kind of entitlement showed when they were in Oxford saying, "Oh, this is your Super Bowl," and when it's like, no, it's not. We've played some legit teams this year and had some legit wins, and they just truly believe that, hey, we're so much better than you. We're going to get Kiffin. I think LSU though truly. I mean, you said it. Outside of Mississippi State, LSU's our biggest rival. I don't know if they view us the same. They got Alabama, they got Florida. I would say we're top three for them for sure.
Yeah.
But Kiffin was never going to go to Mississippi State, so LSU's the worst case scenario, right? I mean, it's like it. I mean, I guess the best comparison would be maybe for you guys, Kirby Smart leaving for Auburn, which
Yeah.
sounds so idiotic to even like announce that.
Yeah.
There's no scenario where that would
But
happen.
that's how y'all feel. Like
That that's that that that's the feeling towards it, and that's the frustration when you hear Nick Saban on TV say, "Oh, he should be able to coach the playoffs." Which, first of all, you hypocrite, he should not be able to. I mean, you fired him because he was distracted.
right.
I think if it's someone else and he's going to another school, maybe he coaches the playoffs, like John Summerall's doing. But I think you've got to take a real good look at character. And Lane Kiffin historically is one of the worst characters in college football. He's a slime ball, and we saw that on his exit.
Yeah.
So I think that with the combination of going to LSU, again our second biggest rival, I think that is why he's not doing it. But to get back to your original point, I don't. I think if he left to go to Penn State, he would finish the playoffs,
Yeah.
even if it's Lane Kiffin,
Yeah.
and as opposed to someone with maybe a higher honor of character, higher level of character.
Yeah, you kind of referenced it like the character flaws, and this is like I put out like an initial grade of all the hires among the SEC new coaches. Kind of that Sunday when it all came out after Lane announced he was going to LSU. Then you got Golish to Auburn, Summerall to Florida, etc. But I let out the grade that Lane Kiffin. I mean, he is a good hire. He was the best coach that was technically available in this coaching carousel, but I gave it an A, and I didn't give it an A plus because of his threat of leaving. LSU is
Yep.
hiring him to be there for the rest of his coaching career. And if the Chiefs come calling when Andy Reid retires, I would not be surprised if he gets that call. I think he definitely gets that call, and I wouldn't be surprised if he left for it. So his character flaws are definitely there. He leaves. He's had some of the worst exits in college football, and I think this one tops all of them the way it was handled. But the Tennessee, after a single year, getting fired on the tarmac at USC, Saban firing him because he was distracted at Alabama. I mean, it's awful. Like, he has a
Well,
terrible track
and
record.
then throw in there the Oakland Raiders back when they were
Yeah,
in Oakland. That is, and I had to read up on that because I was 7 years old when that happened or
right.
whatever. And to me, when someone that respected as Al Davis was, um, when someone calls that much shots at someone's character, hey, it's not even that we lost games when he's here. He is straight up saying he does not trust you. You are not the person he thought you were, and he makes a full PowerPoint to do it. I mean, that is like that should have been a sign that And I will admit, I fell into the Lane Kiffin trap and
Yeah.
believed that, hey, he's changed. Oxford's changed him, and I was swindled. I was completely off with it all.
Yeah, I
Um,
know.
but I to your point, I think he's had the 5 messiest exits that I can think of, and
Yeah,
obviously I'm biased with it all. But other than FAU and maybe when he left USC as a coordinator,
yeah,
I don't think he's left a college and not been, or left a team and it not been messy.
yeah.
Um,
It's
which
like
is which
Sherman coming through
there's
the
one
state of
common
Georgia.
denominator, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly. No, it's absolutely insane. And I think, I read all the tweets and all the rumors, and we'll never know what actually went down in the building at Ole Miss that day. What went
Oh, he's
down?
a dirtbag. He
Yeah,
is a dirtbag. He tried to take the whole team.
that's
Pete Golding stepped up where he had to, told him to get the hell out of this office. It's not your office anymore. And I love that.
yeah,
I will say from the get-go with Kiffin, you always had the sense of, hey, he doesn't care. And he said he did in the documentary and stuff, but you had the sense that he didn't care about, he cared about himself more than he did anything else.
right.
And I'm getting the opposite with Pete Golding. He stood up for what's best for the team, told Kiffin to get the hell out. And Hammy, you reported yourself, which who knows if this is true or not, because you're the only one that reported it,
Yeah, I
that
don't
he was
know.
throwing a temper tantrum and escorted out, and that everyone was staying, and super hyped up text, which I loved. But I'm going to take that like it's true, and I'm
Yeah,
going to choose to believe that. But he couldn't have left in a worse way, and that shows when he finally accepted he wasn't going to be able to have his cake and eat it too, and coach the playoffs and go to what he viewed as ultimately a better job.
yeah. I mean, and that's the ultimate, I think, worst part about this is the temper tantrum that was thrown. If that is true, I think there's probably parts that are exaggerated, parts of it that are true. I mean, it came out, that he put out that letter that after he met with the team wanted him to coach for the playoffs,
Oh my
and then
goodness.
all the players go to Twitter, to Instagram, and they're like, I think everybody in that room can vouch for us when we say that nobody wanted him to stay. That fired me up.
The idea of him being able to try to control this narrative that he is a changed person, even with him going to LSU, and that, oh no, the players really want me to stay, and I'm doing this for the university, and I want to coach simply for the university, but I'm also leaving you guys for your second biggest rival for $91 million. He was him doing that as him trying to keep his reputation alive, and I do believe this, and I'm not. I joke about it. I'm not trying to take a serious shot at someone's character and someone's more morale and stuff, but I don't think Lane handles negative criticism that well
Right.
for what it is. I think he does in a situation like, I think he's going to love being in Oxford next year when LSU's there,
Yeah.
because he's got a group of people that love him. No matter how many people hate him, he's got a group of people that love him. When the whole country and the whole nation is saying, hey, that's kind of a dirtbag move, I don't think he handles that well.
Right.
And I don't think he can help himself but read it online. So I think that whole thing was him trying to control a narrative and him trying to spin it to be Keith Carter's fault, which ultimately, this whole process, as much of a shit show it has been, I've been so grateful that Keith Carter's our athletic director.
I could not say anything. I mean, he has been a saint and a
He's
godsend for
awesome.
me.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
And he has done so well since taking over at Ole Miss. He's an Ole Miss rebel through and through, played basketball there, has been there I think he said in his I didn't know this, but I think he said in his press conference or his speech to the team, he's been there for 30 years working. So he truly loves the Rebels, and he did what was best for the school. And he said he was going to do that the whole time. He protected the university. And honestly, I don't know if he could have done anything different than how he had done it to protect the school any better. And that's both reputation wise, hiring, promoting within to keep continuity and not just make Pete Golding the interim coach. Who knows if he's going to be a good coach or not, but it saved us for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, totally.
If they brought in an interim and then went for the hiring process, our team would be in shambles right now. And maybe people wouldn't have started transferring, but it would not look like it is right now, where we look like we have momentum and feel like we have momentum going forward. And I think Lane is trying to control the narrative with that. And I'm very proud of our players who stepped up and said, hey, shithead, kick rocks. We don't want you. Like I think it's awesome. I think it's cool to see. Makes me proud to be an Ole Miss Rebel. That's for
there you go. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think Keith Carter, like you said, has handled this better than anybody ever could have dreamed of. I mean, with the shitty hand that he was dealt, this is the best that you can do with it. He's made lemonade out of lemons, so I'm all for him. But you mentioned this earlier that Kiffin has had some of the messiest departures in college football history, in football history as a whole. I was watching an interview done, I think, by the local or the student paper on Ole Miss's campus, and it was just some student reporter going around, standing outside the library or something, asking students how they felt. Like it was like the day after, that Monday after class, when everybody came back from Thanksgiving and all this had shook down. And this one girl said, "I'm from Ohio." And I thought LeBron leaving the Cavs was the worst thing ever done in sports, and this has topped it. So I want you to see. I mean, I know like this is fresh, so it's got to be the worst. But does something come to mind that might be worse of either an athlete or a coach leaving a sports team? Because I really can't think of one. Like this is my top tier of one.
It's kind of ironic. The only other one that I think could come close, and I think it's the nature of being in the Southeast where this is not going to feel near as big for us. But Chris Beard, Ole Miss basketball coach, he's done great in his 2 years at Ole Miss. I think he's going to continue to do great. Hopefully we can keep him to stay and he doesn't, ultimately go on to a bigger program similar to Kiffin. I don't think there's going to be the type of outrage if he does. I mean, it's the nature of the beast. But he was at Texas Tech, took them to either the Final Four or the finals.
Yeah, the finals.
And then the very next year left for Texas.
Yeah.
And that was when Texas was in the Big Ten. Texas Tech was in the Big Ten, I believe. Maybe Big 12. I don't know. Big 12. Both were in the Big 12?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is, and I'd read a lot about that during this whole debacle.
Yeah.
Comparisons on like what it's going to look like when Kiffin comes back to Oxford. So that would be the only thing I could compare it to. The LeBron Cavs thing I love because I was a diehard LeBron fan when he left the Cavs, and I remember my older brother, who obviously was a huge LeBron fan as well, but he was a huge D Wade fan too.
Yeah.
So he was juiced up about it, and I was juiced, but I also I didn't like that LeBron turned to the bad guy, right? I didn't like that everyone was rooting against him.
Yeah.
Just as a LeBron fan, I was going to root for LeBron no matter where he was playing. So I don't know. I'm not from Ohio. Again, I'm not a Cavs fan. I was a LeBron fan.
Yeah.
So I imagine the emotions were that high, and I know how much people hated him after the fact. But, I mean, outside of Chris Beard, maybe LeBron, I don't think you can compare it to anything else. I think it's as high a level as betrayal, especially given the situation. I mean, leaving right before a playoff run because he wants to win a national championship when he has an opportunity to win a national championship now.
Yeah.
With a really good team. I mean, say what you want about Ole Miss, but we were up by, we had the Dogs. We were up by 9 against the Dogs in Athens going into the fourth. Obviously that did not end up going our way, but it's a legitimate team that given the situation could get hot and could have a serious chance of doing it. But who knows now,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean that's a heck of a pull. I love the Chris Beard pull because I thought you were gonna like hit me with the layup like KD leaving OKC for Golden State, something like that. But the
Big
Chris
snake
Beard,
move. I didn't even think about that one. That is a that's a really good. I mean, kind of an obvious one, but again, I didn't think of it. So that's a
I love the Chris Beard pull though. We're sticking with
yeah
that as that's your top answer because I
yeah.
like
Oh,
that.
it's kind of the most applicable just because of Texas Tech to Texas and stuff. So
Yeah. No, totally.
and he had taken Texas Tech to almost the top, and I think they lost to was it Arizona that year?
Yeah, gosh, I
Or
can't
no, it
remember.
was like
Was it
it may
UConn
have
one of the
been.
years? Was it UConn
It
one of their
wasn't
years?
the UConn year. It may have been Arizona, or it may have been that shooter. His last name was Guy. Was on the team.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I'm
Gosh,
blanking on it, but
I am too. But yes, no,
yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about. It was crazy though.
insane.
So another twist of the knife, if you will, is the Juice Kiffin story because you're an
Oh,
absolute psychopath, an absolute terrible person if you leave a dog behind. And this story has now swept the nation in the wake of Lane Kiffin's departure. And it absolutely sucks. We're both dog people and
yep.
we love our dogs. And the fact that this was a ploy the whole time and it was a fake, it was a farce, whatever you want to call it. And now he's leaving this dog. The dog never lived with him, and now he's leaving him behind. I know Ole Miss is glad to keep Juice, but the fact that he, as a human being, could leave a dog in a kennel behind in Oxford after claiming it was his, running his social media, I think it's absolute BS. But I
It
want your
it
take on
it.
it.
I think you just hit the nail on the head right there. I'm sure I know plenty of people that are not dog people. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah,
They do not try to act like they're dog people. So they
right.
do not they don't claim to have a dog and they love it so much and it's this amazing thing. I think dogs are the best things in the world. We've got two. I'm looking at one of them. She's laying down right now with her bow on her collar. But we've got two that have been like, Banjo, our big one's he's been with us for 8 years or almost 8 years. Millie's been with us for a little over 10. So like the idea of someone using one of them as a ploy, as a prop, if you will,
Yeah.
is ludicrous. With that said, there's been a little bit more development in the story. Lane Kiffin has taken Juice back.
Yes, I saw on his Twitter that his son was hunting with Juice today. But
Absolutely.
could
Which
it be another fake? I mean, he's a lying SOB, and this dog. There's a lot of dogs that look like Juice. I'm just throwing
and
that
I
out.
mean, it's a yellow lab. They all of them look. I mean, a lot of them look alike, and
Yeah,
Juice is a beautiful dog, but could be passed off as another dog easily. I will tell you this: if he took Juice back to or if he took Juice to Baton Rouge, he's a bigger piece of shit than if he left him in Oxford.
yeah,
Juice has lived with that Wild Rose Kennels for the last 2.5 years since he was staying with Lane Kiffin, and allegedly, since he was staying with Lane, and Lane posted on Twitter that Juice had cut himself with the steak knife.
yeah.
Which I'm not blaming. I'm not saying Lane did anything to harm the dog, but
Right.
I'm just saying, it's been 2 years since he lived with Lane, and when he did, it seemed like something bad happened. I don't think that's right to take a dog out of its comfort, out of its home, out of its environment that it's known for 2 years that it loved. I mean, that dog went hunting all the time. That is
Yeah,
a bird dog. That dog lives an amazing life. And if he did take him to Baton Rouge, I'm glad that Knox is hunting with him. But the idea of someone coming along and obviously it's different, but taking one of our dogs away from us is insane. And I feel bad for the people at Wild Rose Kennels. That is their dog, and they deserve that dog.
yeah,
And I think it goes to show the I don't want to say it, I feel bad saying it, but the insecurity of Lane Kiffin
yeah. I
that
mean, yeah.
he gets hate on social media and decides to, oh no, everyone's mad at me for leaving Juice. I'm just gonna go get Juice and take him from his home, not thinking at all about the dog.
Right. Yeah. No,
So
it's
that
absolute BS, I think. So I kind of like was like a little heated after obviously the whole dog thing, but like Georgia has faced many allegations from PETA and the whole UGA is not treated right and blah blah blah. But if we're being honest, that dog is the greatest, treated the best out of any dog in the entire world. So I
That's
want PETA to go after Lane because they need to go get his ass
on his
you
ass.
know what I mean, put PETA on his ass. Let's file a freaking lawsuit. But
It's.
yeah,
I mean, I'm with you 100%. And like, don't get me wrong. I hope Lane gives this dog the world. I hope he's great to the dog. I hope Knox goes hunting with the dog. I hope this dog loves his life in Baton Rouge. I don't think it's right to take a dog from its home, somewhere where it knows, somewhere where it's fed, somewhere where it loves and was loved. So I hope the best. I hope that Lane and I again I don't think Lane's just like a terrible person wanting to hurt people, but I don't. You got to imagine it's hard to top a kennel
yeah.
that takes the dog hunting every day. It's hard to top that. So I hate it for Juice, and I really hope that they treat him well.
Yeah, I'm with you. But let's talk about the here, the now. That's what's important now. That's, a mantra among all of these college football programs. And I think what is resonating heavily with Oxford is what's important now, and that is the playoffs led
Yep.
by Coach Pete Golding.
Yep.
So I want to get the initial reactions. We'll close out with this. How do we feel about the Pete Golding era moving forward and into these playoffs, first round matchup against Tulane in Oxford, which is going to be electric?
Oh, it's going to be electric, dude. It's going to be awesome. Look, all the stuff I was reading when it kind of became evident Kiffin was leaving was that Joe Judge was going to be promoted to interim head coach,
Yeah, heard that.
which I was happy about because I wanted to keep Joe Judge because he helped develop Dart. He's done a lot with Trinidad. Him and Trinidad are very close. When Pete Golding got hired, I was a little shocked because he was hired permanently.
Yeah.
But then I was a little shocked. I don't know if I was happy at first. I was kind of like, just like, what are we doing here? This seems like a quick pull of the trigger and stuff. But then I, kind of took a step back and I've told myself what I've been saying the whole time is, in Keith Carter we trust. I mean, give that man the keys to the goddamn city. The dude is the man. And I think Pete Golding is 100% the opposite of Lane Kiffin, which is exactly what we need right now.
Yeah.
And we've seen that firsthand the last, I don't know, week and a half since he's been hired. Very little time in front of the camera, making everything about the players, and just putting your head down and getting to freaking work, dude.
Yeah.
Spot the damn ball and let's go play some football, dude.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. They're ready to go to war.
So I'm ready to, dude. I wasn't initially happy, but I wouldn't say I was unhappy, but I was just kind of didn't know how to react.
Right.
And of course, Ole Miss announced that before Lane had even officially announced he left. So it was still kind of just this weird raw reaction of like, is this all really happening right now?
Yeah. No, it was weird. It was so weird.
It was weird, dude. It was just weird. But I say all that, and I'm juiced to have someone that wants to be there and wants to live in the great city of Oxford and coach the great Ole Miss Rebels and fight for his players, dude. And I think that's refreshing to see, especially kind of the way this year has gone. It's good to see someone want it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm totally with you. I think y'all have got a great road ahead of you. I love the Pete Golding hire. I mean, obviously, you wanted to keep the interim in-house going into this playoff run, especially with everything that had gone down. But I'm with Keith Carter, like you said, and Keith Carter y'all should trust because I think him as the permanent hire and completely removing your name from this coaching carousel that has been the craziest we've ever seen in college football history. I mean, I can't imagine going into the coaching search when a Penn State team who claims to be one of these brands like an LSU, like a Florida, that's like all this up top, blah, 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 and they couldn't even get a coach hired. And they had a head start. They fired James Franklin back in
Oh
early
my gosh.
October.
It was like they did everything the way so they could have their pick of the litter. Which I will say I was a James Franklin hater for his
Yeah.
whole time at Penn State. He's grown on me a lot since the fire. I thought he handled that with the utmost class.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of also just proved that like Penn State, you maybe aren't who you think you are.
Right.
And maybe you have more to thank or more. Maybe you should thank James Franklin for more than you thought, and you were winning because of him, maybe not in spite of him.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
and I'm hopeful for the things he can do at Virginia Tech. I kind of like that program. They're sneaky and stuff, so
Yeah,
it'll be
I think
fun.
it'll be fun with him there. I mean, Penn State's in shambles right now, the recruiting class, and Virginia Tech is.
Dude, I saw they had like 2 recruits.
Yeah,
They were down
they
there
are.
with like they were down there with schools I've never even heard of, like in
Oh
like
yeah,
the 170th in the class. It's
I mean,
insane.
it's awful. It is
It's
pathetic.
terrible.
It's
Pathetic. It really
hilarious.
was.
It's really hilarious.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun no matter what for Ole Miss. Obviously, y'all's first playoff appearance, and y'all get a home game. I'm jealous of the home game. Obviously, I'm pleased with where Georgia is, but I think getting a home atmosphere for a playoff game would be absolutely electric. So I'm stoked for y'all. I hope you're going to Oxford. I know you're trying to.
I am going to Oxford. We've not bought tickets yet. We've got to buy tickets. We're going to Oxford. We've got a spot to stay. Um, the lighting's so damn bad in this house, but I'm wearing the exact same outfit I was wearing when we did it the first time, when
You're
we
right.
recorded the first time, because that was the week we were playing Tulane.
Yes, it
Um,
was.
I think Tulane's a better team. I say this every year. I get a lot of shit for it because we play Tulane. It seems like every year. They're always better than you think they are. Their coach is really good. I admire the way he's handled this process of him ultimately leaving. They still have an absolute scumbag of a quarterback. Um, and I hope we beat him by 50. And Pete Golding allows 100 yards on offense, or on his defense allows 100 yards. And I hope we beat them by 50 and people pull up their shirt and we've got a F Lane Kiffin logo in there or something. I want the city to go insane.
Yeah.
And I think it will. I really think it will. I think it's going to be a great time. And I don't know what to pick because I don't have any real view of Ole Miss without Lane. But we got our play caller back, at least temporarily. It feels like a team that's really motivated to go out there and play hard, play fast, play good.
Yeah.
So hopefully we see that.
Yeah. This is a therapy session.
It is. It really is. Cameron needs to do one next. She hates Lane. She ripped up. I wish I still had it. She ripped his bobblehead up, and then I looked over and she was putting it back together, and I was like, "What are you doing?" She was like, "I want a video of me throwing it against the wall." I was like, "You're just destroying the one thing we have of Lane Kiffin as many times as possible."
That's awesome. I'm excited for Ole Miss. It's going to be fun. But Ben, thanks for hopping on. It's been a pleasure. I love getting the raw reaction. I know it sucks, but I'm excited for the future of Ole Miss football for you and your trips to Oxford in the future, especially this one that is the most recent in the future, or the most upcoming in the future, nearest in the future. But anyways, man, thanks for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Hammy Show. This is Ben Carter. Give him a round of applause. Hell of a showing reacting to the Lane Kiffin firing. But man, Ben, thanks so much.
Dude, thank you for having me. It is always a blast. I will jump on at any given time. I will do it. I will do it if Ole Miss loses on Saturday or in 2 Saturdays. I will do it that night. I love it. It's so much fun.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, we see you next time on the Hammy Show. And everybody keep it real, and let's go Rebels.
Let's go Rebs. Hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy.